Hi, this is Ramesh. So in today's video, I'm going to demonstrate on the mobile automation for the store app you're using. So the automation tool that we are working on is Appium. So let me briefly describe about Appium first, and then I'll walk you through the automation. So what is Appium? Appium is a open source mobile test automation framework for native, hybrid, and mobile apps for iOS and Android. So it's also a cross-platform automation tool. So you can write your software automation tests against iOS and Android using the same API. So the strong reason for choosing APM automation tool is so we can work on we can automate our app with the real devices. If the real devices are not available, we can make use of simulators for iOS and emulators for Android devices. So APM also has a larger community support, and it allows you to communicate. It allows you to automate built-in applications in our mobile phone like camera, alarm, etc. So where you can communicate with other apps like camera when we are working real app testing. Now let me run the automation using this APM tool. So before executing the automation scripts, let me just walk you through the app for the manual scenarios that what I'm going to automate so that you'll have a clear idea what the script is executing. So I have connected my device with Zebra, so you can see it in the screen. Let me launch the app Kmart PDT for the store app. So this is a login screen for all the team members where they can provide their credentials and can just log in. So once they log in, it will be provided with all the features available for them. So for this demo, I'm going to take up some two functions to demonstrate it. So I'm just picking up adjust stock levels. So here in this screen there are some three options. Let me just explain about report product loss. So this function comes in picture when there's any item which is damaged or it has to be discarded. There might be many reasons, like why that has to be discarded. It might be empty packet or soil or damage. So all these things will come under report product loss. So these are the three options which comes under report product loss: write off, empty packet, and this is soil. So I'm just choosing write off. So here I can scan the item. Let me just scan the item. So I scanned an item and I can see the details of that key code, and I can see the quantity coming as by default as 1. So if I just disable that, like if I make it to 0 quantity, the submit button will be disabled, so you can't submit with 0. So these are the manual test cases which covers. So all these conditions will be checked in automation as well. So I'm going to tap on this header text to verify the help text displayed in this pop-up, and so once you submit, so you can see the item being added here. So you can also scan other items and then add those items as well. So now you can see the count as 2. So once I finish, all this data will be captured in the database, and then we'll send a report to the backend. Now let me show the same thing with the automation executing the code. So this is the project I'm working on, Kmart PDT. So I'm opening a function which I demonstrated now with the manual thing. So where it checks for report product loss and then execute all these things. So let me just run this and I'll explain how it's actually working. So I just ran the code. So now you can see it in the screen how it is executing. So I have different like positive test cases and negative test cases in the code. So that will be performing now. So you can see everything in the automation code. So it's entering the username and credentials and it logged in. So it has gone to adjust levels and it has gone to report product class. So it has chosen now I chosen the empty packet functionality. So the pop-up is open to check the content is proper or not. So now this check is for invalid entries of items. So it's performing other test cases. So now it's checking with the valid item. So it checks for this condition whether by default it comes one or not. And now it also checks for with zero. With zero, the submit button should be disabled. So this is actually happening fast, so I can't explain it. I can go with the video. I'm trying to clear the things. So what all the test cases are actually working. So right now it's performing adding more items to the list. So this list is coming from the Excel sheet that I'm using. It's not a hard-coded one, but I upload all the items in the Excel sheet. So it's calling from the Excel sheet and then adding it over here and checking the conditions with the test cases. So I've added up to 6 items. So after adding 6 items, it will just cross verify whether the 6 has been ordered with the drop down, and then it finishes the task. So there are more test cases written in this script. So it updates with the quantity of 150 and checking whether this pop-up comes or not. So there's a condition with that if we enter more than 150, that pop-up should come or not. So that even that check it's handling with automation. And also now I'm checking with like entering a negative values to it. So I've given a loop up to 10, so it goes up to 10 and then submits and validates the test case. So this is going inside the product info and then check whether the product is loaded, and then it comes back and then it finishes the task. So all these are executing with the code. So I mean this will save the manual time when you do it in regression. So every time you get a new build from the developer, so all this test has to be done with the manual, so it will take more time when you do it in manual. So with the execution of code, it takes in less time. So now you can see it has executed 20 test cases and there was no failure. So if there's any like changes made in the development in the next sprints or like adding a feature to it, so if if it is affected for this screen, so and it has been like there's a change, I mean whatever changes made by developer is affecting the functionality of this screen, and then when we execute the code, the same code, so we can just get those changes with automation. Like there is a change has happened because of the some feature we added in the current sprint, or so such kind of things can be captured with the automation. Now let me explain other functionality in the app, and then let me explain manually again, and then I'll execute the same code with automation. So we have just seen with the adjust stock levels and the report product loss. Now let me take you to other functionality with the shop floor. Let me just pick add to shop floor. So this functionality is like where you can add items to the shop floor. So you have to choose the location first. So where you're going to place that item. So that location I've chosen. So you can see the details of that location over here. And then let me just scan scan one more item where I want to add that item to the shop floor. So right now I'm doing it manually, and then I'll execute the same thing with the automation code. So I've scanned an item, and we can see the details of that item scanned. So this label quantity is just for like if you add this quantity, you can get the printout of that labels. So let me just submit this, so I can add one more item. So submit this as well, so and I can finish this functionality. So all those checks like checking for the invalid item scans and tapping on this pop-up the text is coming or not. So all these test cases are handled in automation, and you can see when I'm running that code. So let me just finish this. So I'm running it manually now just to show the how the add to shop flow works. So this is about add to shop floor. So now let us go back and execute the same thing with the automation code. So it's in add to shop floor. Sorry, add to shop floor. So let me just execute this, and you can see the same thing in the app how it is executing it. So it is started. So now I'm executing the code for add to shop floor. So those test cases we can see with the automation thing. So it's launching the app, and then it logs in. So now it goes to shop floor, and then chooses that add to shop floor. And then it chooses the printers. It actually does a check over here whether it's disabled or not, and then all those checks are handled. So here as well the pop-up has been opened and checking for the text, and then the location has entered. It checks whether the location has come out to this screen. So it checks for the invalid item. So now it checks for the valid item. So I have done an undo operation over here. So after doing undo operation, whether it is checking a condition whether the item is still displaying or not. So it bit takes a time for this condition to be checked. So if this condition is passed, you can see the test case has been passed over here. If the item is still displaying, we can see the test case has been failed. So the pop-up is released now. It's checking for other test cases. So now it's choosing I don't have a printer option and then performing the same actions. So it's doing the same check by choosing the printer, and this time it is doing the same check without choosing the printer. So these are the test cases which we have in add to shop flow. So it's actually executing both the cases. So again doing undo check, and then it might take time to show the result. Successfully executed. It is now just submitting with one item. So previously it was with 0 items, like doing undo and submitting it. Now it's doing a submission with one item being added. So these are the different test cases which is executing in the add to shop floor screens. So now it's updating the quantity. Previously it was like 0 quantity was going. Now it's updating with quantity and then checking the condition. So if you update the quantity, it comes with the label group to be entered. So it's checking the condition of that as well, so that it prints in the back of his printer. So these are all the test cases of this add to shop floor. Now I'm doing a check for adding more items. So just we did as for report product loss. So same test case we are covering it in add to shop floor as well. So it checks the conditions and then it verifies and then submits and then finish. Yeah, so you can see the test case has been executed. So here the like 23 test cases and everything got passed and shown the proper result. So till now I've executed the code individually. So what if we execute collection of test cases together? So that's nothing but a test suite. So let me just open that. So I'm trying to run as a suite now. Look, instead of running individually each and every functionality, I can run it in a bulk way. It's nothing but a test suite. So if you want to run the code outside the Eclipse editor, which I'm using it now, so you can run the same code in the terminal, or else you can just upload this code to Jenkins, and then you can trigger this command so that it executes in the Jenkins. So let me just test the same flow which I added now. So I'm running these two test cases together now, test empty packet flow and add to shop flow now, which I demonstrated before. So now this is running as a test suite. So let me just open the app again. So this now executes both the test cases which I've demonstrated before. So but a single command is passed so that it executes all the test cases added in this testng.xml file. So we can run the same thing using the Maven in the terminal, and also we can upload the same thing with Jenkins. So you just want to pass the command and then it executes which all the test cases that you want to run. So let me just pass this, and then I'll show I should pass the video, and then I'll show the entire result, how it is executed. Yeah, now it has stopped executing the code. So now we can see I have combined both the test cases, and then it has run complete run of 20 plus 23 test cases. So you can see all the things got passed. So this is about how the automation works. Now coming to the framework level, how it is designed. So let me start with the POM model. So POM is nothing but page object model. So as per the page object model, we have maintained a class for every screen in the app. So each screen has a separate class, and the class holds the functionality and element locators of that screen. So the benefit of using the POM is that the UI changes of this if there is any UI change in the screen, the text written need not to be changed. So only the code within the page object needs to be changed. So also we are following the hybrid framework, where I'm gonna pass the data through Excel sheet or the properties file. So even the build is going with the APK file which I'm installing the application. Will go with the properties file. So I'm gonna give the location of that, and then it calls the properties file and then executes the application. And the next one is the screenshots. So if there is any failure in the entire code that we executed, so it will go and it will go in the output results. So we have to just refresh the screen. So we can see all the the screenshots of the failure cases. So today is 13th July. Yeah, so just for the demo purpose, I have failed few cases in the last execution. So if there's any failure in the test case, so it captures the screenshot of that particular test case, and it stores in a location folder. So now it is stored in this location. Let me just open that. So all the screenshots will be captured under this folder of the particular screen. So let me go to 13th July. Yeah, so I just made a failure in this case, so it has captured the screenshot for that. And the next thing is the test data. As I said, like I have not hard-coded any the data that I'm passing with the app. So everything is like installed in this test data. So I'm gonna pass the login credentials, I'm gonna pass the key codes that I'm gonna pass, everything through Excel data. So here you can see, so the login details I'm going with this, and then the barcodes which I provided here is taken from the Excel sheet and then executing the code. The next one is Maven. So we are using Maven build management tool. So where it is useful for dependency purpose and for the build execution. So dependency purpose. So I can upload this code in the Git and then I can add the Maven dependencies. So the other person can just take the code and then he can add his execute from his system. So what Maven dependency does, so it downloads all the jar files required for the project and then it start executing. And Maven is also used for execution. So you can use the Maven commands in Jenkins, and then we can just use that command to run it on the Jenkins. So these are the ways how Maven will be useful for the project. And then coming to the next topic, so it's about the reports. So we can see the report in HTML format, or we can see the report in extend report. So it provides the user with a graphical with a better look of graphical representation to the user. So let me just open that. Here you can see the extend report. Yeah, so it will provide you the graphical representation of all the test case executed. So let me just copy this into browser. Yeah, so if you see it here, you can see the number of test cases has been executed and then how many things got passed, and then it will show a graphical representation with a green color of how many got passed, and if there's a failure it will show in a red color. And you can see the time taken to execute these 43 test cases and the percentage. So this is about the extend report. So you can see how this looks if there's a failure in the extend report. So you can see it over here. So this I'm taking it from the very previous code. So yeah, so how the graphical representation looks like if there's a failure. So you can see the test case has been failed, and then it will capture a screenshot, and even that can be seen with the report in the extend report. So this is about extend report. So also we have log4j, where we can capture each and every step when executing the code. So those logs can be seen like this. So each and every step when executing the code, like just example, so it's taking the text data from complete page, that is user navigate to complete page. So this is one of the scenario in that test case executed. So it will just capture each and every line of what is executing in the code, and this will be captured in the test log. So this is about the information about the frameworks used in the application. And yeah, I come to the end of the video. So that's about Appium automation tool. Thanks for your time. Thank you.